ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ओम गंगणपते नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम, श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम, श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते रुद्राय, ओम नमः शिवाय, श्री हनुमते नमः। Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 25th of April 2025. I want to offer my prostrations to all the great sages and to Bhagavan residing in the heart of every single being. We are continuing by the grace of Paramatma to examine Shri Vivekchudamani and verse number 77 particularly. In this verse there is this great teaching of Adi Jagat Guru Shankaracharya Ji about the potential impact of the sense objects and the world experience in general on the Anthakarna. The Anthakarna is the inner instrument. It is brimming with the knowledge of the Atman. Atma is divine Divya Tattva. We say divine light, but it's Divya Prakash. It is a divine conscious light. And that is what we are. We are that extraordinary, non-material, metaphysical Divya Prakash. That is our actual Swarup. Now, the realization of that, the awareness of that, the vision of that comes about when the Anthakarna is no longer in a state of ajnan, meaning our mental faculties are not inside the vortex of the field of Maya. Then the Atma Darshan happens. Atma Darshan happens when one is aligned completely, the alignment is full, but at the same time, manovrutti, the vrittis of the Anthakarna are purified and they dive back into the Atma. The vrittis continue as far as, the activity of the brain, mind continues as far as the worldly experience. But the worldly experience does not cause a degradation in the wisdom that is taking one towards the Atma. I hope that makes sense. It's like this. If you're on a train, you get off, let's say I get on a train here on the in Wilmington, Delaware, and I want to go to Los Angeles, through the train, right? Switching different trains. I have a destination in my mind. I'll do whatever I need to do in the train and other activities, but I don't lose sight of my destination. And then I get off at the destination. It's something like that. If the destination is set, or when a sadhak sets the destination to realize Brahman, कि ब्रह्म विद्या सिद्ध कर दे, ब्रह्म का दर्शन कर रहा है, ब्रह्म दर्शन, then activity is performed in waking state, day-to-day life, but that activity is performed without losing the sight of the destination. You're sitting in the train, Sachin gets on the train, I'm eating my meals, I'm talking to people, I'm doing whatever I'm doing, reading books, whatever I'm doing, but I'm keeping the destination in my mind. What is my life destination? This is what Vedvyas Ji said. Bhagwan Narayan is the destination. Dheyo Narayano Hari. I've mentioned this shlok before many, many times in the past. Aludya sarva shastrani vicharya cha puna puna idam ekam sunishpannam dheyo Narayano Hari. Bhagwan Vedvyas Ji swayam kehte hai, after examining everything he himself wrote, he says, I have come to one unescapable conclusion that the goal of life is Narayana. Other things are there, dharma, artha, kam, other desires, they keep rolling around. But when a bhakta reaches a state of pure bhakti, divya bhakti, shuddha bhakti, akhanda bhakti, kya baat hai? Isse par kya baat hai? Then by krupa, bhagavad krupa, atma darshan ho sakta hai. Atma darshan bahut adbhut baat hai ye. That is who you are. We are that divinity. This is what Vedanta is teaching us. That Atma Darshan is where one is sitting in dhyan, sitting in the meditation room, sitting with the Ishta Devata, or sitting in nature, and there is absolute inner freedom. Anthakarna swatantra ban gaya hai. Swatantra, not paratantra. This is the development further. So isme vivek aa jata hai. We have vivek. Obviously viveka is there. The discriminative discernment. What is real, what is unreal. The world is seen as temporary. We already know that intellectually, but to bring that intellectual knowledge that the world is temporary, meaning anitya. It is not nitya, meaning eternally existing. It is anitya. We know that. Everybody knows that. Knowing it is not enough. Internalizing that fact is the real goal. And that's what brings about nitya, anitya, vastu, viveka. So everything has its limited existence. And then it goes away. Especially this body. Ye sharir hi anitya hai. Thode time ke liye hai. Yes, do we need to be healthy? Yes. Do we want to fulfill our desires? Sure, why not? Do we want to be very balanced and sane and have those life circumstances in such a way, let me hit that mute there, have those life circumstances in such a way that there is no obstruction in reaching our goal? Yes. We don't want obstruction. If we're on that train going to Los Angeles, I don't want the train to fall over. I don't want somebody to crash into me. I don't want problems, right? That is why we do Shiv Upasana, Devi Upasana, Ganesh Ji ki Upasana. Why we worship them, why we are connected with them. We do it every day here online. Because one of the main reasons is we don't want obstacles in any path, in the material path, in the spiritual path. We don't want obstacles. We don't want troubles in the path. Right, so those mantras and that bhakti of Shiv Parivar removes all those obstacles. Now, once obstacles are not there, then we take the path forward by increasing our contemplative power inside Brahma Vidya. So this is in Advait Vedanta, this is the path, that the Manan Chintana, Shravan Manan Nididhya Sakshatkar is to contemplate. Well, okay, if I'm sitting in nature, I'm saying the world is anitya. Oh, all right. If the world is anitya, the world is still there. The outside world is there, my mind is there, I'm here. But I'm not in any sense worried about anything. There's no tension of any kind. There is great viveka within my mind. Then there is the mala. कि भगवान का जो नाम है ना एक नामा आधारा भगवत नाम कभी छोड़ना नहीं. That becomes the bridge. That name is the bridge into the nami. Naam and nami, 2 words are there in Gujarati. For example, Ram Nam, we've been talking about that during Ram Navami, right? Ram, or Krishna. When we take their name, that is a bridge into the nami, the tattva. Nam or nami. Nami means whose name it is. You see, so that tattva, that is the Brahma tattva, that is the Parabrahma tattva. That Bhagavat tattva ke saath, the name becomes the connection. So the mantra jap continues. Now there are many sadhanas are there. The Bij mantra sadhanas are there also. The Aim seed mantra, the Namah Shivaya mantra, these mantras are definitely very good. That's part of what we do. Then again, reading the scriptures, internalizing their teachings, having a more enhanced worship. It is called upasana. Bhagwan ki upasana nirantar chalti hai isme. It's not easy. It's because our mind is going in, we want 100 other things going on. Some thought comes up, some ichhas come up, vasanas come up. Immediately it gets deflected right away. But eventually, as the sadhak progresses, slowly progresses day by day, a state comes where the deflection caused by the vasanas or by the vishayas outside, the objects outside, no longer will happen. We want to reach that point where the deflection is not there. Activity is going on. You still drink a cup of coffee, you still have your meals, you do whatever. But the mental, the antarik ichha, हमारे अंतःकरण में जो इच्छा है वो भगवान के साथ ही लिंक. It doesn't diminish that, and it doesn't diminish because of unbroken vairagya. The vairagya begins to develop, and then it reaches a stage where it doesn't break, because then you see everything in the light of Jnana. Jnana and Vairagya are together. Whatever the activity of the life is going on. But there are states, you get glimpses of Akhanda Vairagya. Maybe 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, maybe 2 minutes, maybe 30 seconds, you get a glimpse of it. And that's a beginning. That's a beginning for the Viveka, for Brahma Jnana. Because the Brahma Jnani, the one who has Brahma Jnana, realization of Brahman, perforates avarana. Perforation means breaking out of the avaranas. The blockages that are present inside our system, they are removed, and that reveals the non-dual tattva, the Advaitic tattva that we are. Our essential nature is revealed when the avarana breaks apart. Avarana nahi rehte koi. No, it's the illusions break apart, the delusions break apart, all the rag, dvesh, aham, mamatva, all that thing completely shatters. And as a result of that, there is something called Sarga Visarga Tyaga. Sarga Visarga Tyaga. Let's just take another minute here before we stop. Sarga Visarga Tyag means that the deliberate refusal to supply kinetic energy to Maya's projection machine. Understand this point. I'll go through it again carefully. Maya has intense power to project this entire reality around us. That's why we get stuck inside Maya. We get stuck inside the projecting power. But Sarga Visarga Tyag, one who realizes the way the projecting power works, says that I am not going to get stuck inside this power of Maya. And you pray to Devi that she releases, she helps the individual away from that entrapment. So this is called deliberate refusal to supply kinetic energy to the Maya's projection machine. Where is that projection machine? Inside of us. So we not put energy inside there. I'll give you some examples. Let's say I'm having 10 people over for dinner, and they start some conversation, some political conversation, some family conversation, some whatever. And they're getting into that, and see myself getting drawn into that vortex of raga dvesha. I realize this is happening. As soon as I realize that I am actually adding to my own ajnan by supplying kinetic energy, my own active energy, into the projection machine that Maya has given me. Why am I supplying it there? Then I'll get caught up inside that, waste my time inside there. So interact with those people to some extent. Pull back. Don't add energy inside there. And leave that energy. Just be in a sakshi bhav. See what's going on. But don't get stuck inside somebody else's ragdvesh. Somebody else's entanglements. To not get stuck with anybody else's entanglement in this sansar it means to deliberately refuse to supply kinetic energy to Maya's projection machine. Kya baat hai ye? It's worth thinking about. It's application, day-to-day application. That this internal power that the Param Tattva has given me is not going to be supplied to add to my ajnan, to add to the entire further solidification of the projection, because it's false. See, I'll give you an example. When we turn on the TV, what do we see? This country versus this person versus that person. Somebody attacked here, somebody did this here, somebody did that there. Ye sab chalta hai. From a Jnani point of view, there are no countries. Koi country nahi hai. There's only land mass. And there's not even land mass, there's only Brahman, there's only Shakti, and there's only Brahman. Nothing else is there. This is all a vikshep. It is generated inside the mind. Like Sachin is sitting in Newark, Delaware. There's nothing like Newark, Delaware. There's nothing like Delaware or United States. These are all false ideas that are created by the mind over centuries. And to break out of that is called Brahmagnan. Can just imagine for a moment, sit inside a park and get out of the mindset we're sitting inside a particular state. Functionally we are, relatively we know that, but in terms of Brahma Vidya, it's totally false. Even this name, Sachin, this name, totally false. Totally false. It is part of the kinetic energy of Maya's projection machine. That is a name given by the mother of this body. That name is not who I am. But I'm identified, Sachin. Even if somebody says from a distance, Sachin, immediately that's me, that's okay. Functionally, yes, up to some level. It's not real. It's not real. There's nothing like Delaware. There's nothing like India. There's nothing like America. There's nothing like Canada. Kuch nahi hai. These are fabrications of the human mind. There's only nature. And even that nature is only Brahman. It is Akshara Brahma. It is Shakti. It is Brahma Shakti in that form only. And then it takes on this extraordinary projection power, the kinetic machine, the Maya's projection machine, and it dazzles the perceiver. That is the Adhyas. Shankaracharya ji, this is what is meant by Adhyas. Adi Jagat Guru Shankaracharya ji kehte, ye sab jagat Adhyas. For example, I'm sitting in Newark, Delaware, constantly in my mind, Newark, Delaware. It's like, even whether I like it or not, it's constantly in my mind. I drive my car, the state border is there, the city border is there, all of this is there. Yes, relatively, Vaivarika Satyam, but it is not actually the reality. It is Adhyas. So to awaken out of that is a Brahmagnani. Brahmagnani doesn't consider that I'm living in United States, or I'm living in India, I'm living here or living there. Bilkul nahi, Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Sab jagah meri hai. Not that ahankar me, that Brahman me. Kya baat hai ye? And this is exactly the vision of Bhagwan Ram. This is exactly the vision of Bhagwan Krishna. This is exactly the vision of all the incarnations of God. That, the moment that shift happens inside of us, which is a tremendous thing, bahut amazing baat hai, Adhyasa, the superimposition stops. And we are awakened. इसको जागृति कहते हैं, इसको दिव्य ज्योत कहते हैं, दिव्य प्रकाश कहते हैं. और इसमें से आत्मा का दर्शन हो सकता है, ब्रह्म का दर्शन हो सकता है. इसमें पूर्ण वैराग्य, पूर्ण ज्ञान, पूर्ण भक्ति, पूर्ण धर्म, everything comes right inside. And as a result of that, what happens? One lives as a Jivan Mukta, not as a tormented, limited, foolish person living inside this sansar with rag, dvesh, aham, mamatva, klesh. Ye sab nikal jata hai. This is childishness. This is the pure spirituality. Not because Sachin is saying so, because it is so. Because that's what Shankaracharya ji is teaching us. That's what Bhagwan Krishna is teaching us. That is what the Yoga Vashishta Maharamayana is teaching us. That is what the Vachanamrita is teaching us. That is what the Guru Granth Sahib is teaching us. That is what the New Testament is teaching us. Whether we like it or not, or know it or not, it is so. So let's stop here for now. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvadam Ganganapate Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharannitrambake Gauri Narayani Namosute Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Mahalakshmi Rupena Samstita Namaste Namo Namaha Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundaya Viche Om Glom Hum Klim Jum Sahajwala Yajwala Prajwala Aim Rim Klim Chamundaya Viche Jwala Ham Sam Lam Ksham Hat Swaha Om Durge Rakshini Tha Swaha Om Shri Radha Krishna Arpanamastu Om Rim Swaha.